It's now 7 p.m. I hereby call the July 10th, 2024 meeting of the Frostburg Planning Commission to order. We'll start our meeting with a roll call of members present.
Adam Ritchie, Richard Russo, Aaron Stevens,
Conrad Best, Chairman.
Karen Crow.
Jeff Snyder, Ray Race.
We have a quorum. All right. As we begin, I would ask anyone presenting business before the commission or individuals who want to comment on business before the commission or other concerns, please come forward to the podium at the appropriate time. State your name and address for the record. Each meeting is recorded, so please speak loudly and clearly. First item is the approval of the minutes from the June meeting.
I'll make a motion that the minutes be approved as submitted.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
I'd second.
Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions? Motion carries. Don't see any citizens unless you want to make it, okay. Maryland Department of Planning, the annual report.
Yes, we have for your review the annual report to the Maryland Department of Planning. It's answering various questions that they ask of us each year. Just giving them an update as far as the number of new residential permits issued. Was the main question. There's a few other questions they had asked that didn't pertain to anything that we had completed within the year. We did answer for number 6. They asked if there were any issues that the Department of Planning could assist us with, and we had stated comprehensive planning and guidance related to the Maryland House Bill 805, the cannabis licensee restrictions or requirements, and then just asked if the Planning Commission and Board of Appeals members had all completed their training course material, which was yes, they have.
Any comments by any of the commission?
Have the CSO projects all been completed?
No,
But that's not relevant.
Yeah, I wonder if we shouldn't have, like, on number 5, this bill implement recommendations, water sewer capacity, bike and pedestrian planning, and, yeah, I definitely would check those two. I mean, it's stuff that the city's been ongoing and it's been that way for several years. And definitely commercial redevelopment. You guys are continuously working on that.
Any other comments? Do I have a motion to approve as amended?
I'll make a motion to approve as amended.
Been moved. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Abstentions? Motion carries.
Thank you. This will be presented to the mayor and council at their meeting on Tuesday evening for final approval before we submit this to MVP.
Okay. I see you have a discussion item here. permanent makeup services and body art.
Yes, so in the back of your packets, you have a memo that I've prepared regarding permanent makeup services. This is something that's new to our office, and we're seeking guidance on whether we should classify this as body art, a body art studio as a primary use, or if you all would consider permanent makeup services to be accessory to general salon services. I've outlined a couple different considerations for you in this memo. Consideration number 1 gives you the definition pulled directly from section 2 of the Frostburg zoning ordinance of a body art studio. So I won't read that word for word for you since you all have it. But I also want to note that the state of Maryland treats permanent makeup as tattooing from a regulatory standpoint because of the increased levels of hygiene that the facility has to have. But it also falls under the cosmetology board of the state. So it's kind of unclear, even at a state level, on how this should be treated. And I'd also like to note that, you know, once this was brought to my attention, I did a little bit of research into what's the difference between permanent makeup and a regular tattoo. So the method of application is different. The needle that's used on a traditional tattoo, a 3-pronged needle is used. On most permanent tattoos, it's only a single-pronged needle. And then the ink is not inserted as deeply into the skin. So it's not permanent as you would think of with a regular tattoo. The general lifespan is between 1 to 3 years before it needs touched up. So that's really what I have to report. That's the facts. So at this point, staff would ask for recommendations on whether you would consider this type of use to be accessory to a beauty salon, or if you would consider it to be just body art. And the reason that this has come up, we do have a prospective business owner in our downtown business district who's a licensed cosmetologist, and plans on offering, you know, regularly associated cosmetology services, but also plans to expand to include permanent makeup services as well. So I wanted to bring this to you before we run into issues at the last minute. You know, she's trying to get her facility open, but I just want to get some clarification.
Now, do I understand this to mean that the makeup portion of the thing could be done in a beauty salon also?
Yes, so the way that permanent makeup facilities, they operate, the facility is set up like a beauty salon, but then there is a private area in the back that's completely blocked away from all other customers, like you would have in a tattoo studio. When you go to a body art studio, each client has to be separated out, has to be in their own contained area to prevent the spread of, you know, airborne or any kind of pathogens or anything like that that would result because the skin is being punctured.
Are there tattoo studios that perform this type of service as well, cosmetic?
I mean, I would imagine that any tattoo salon or body art studio could provide this service if they had qualified artists working for them. But, you know, not all beauty salons are going to have a cosmetic makeup artist, or, excuse me, cosmetic tattoo artist.
So is it a separate license then, between being a tattooist and a, whatever you want to call it?
I am not 100% sure if cosmetologists have to get additional licensure to perform that. I would imagine that there's at least some kind of training, or maybe not a state-issued license, but perhaps a certification that has to be obtained. And, you know, all these facilities are inspected by the cosmetology board of the state. So,
Are there any other
Local ones around the area.
that provide permanent makeup services. Not to my knowledge. I know that Tattoo Nouveau in LaVale is starting to get into that, but I'm not sure that that's a, you know, regularly offered service. Our body art studio here in town, I'm not sure that they provide that service. I have not seen anything about them doing that, but
I hear a place down in Bel Air Plaza, I think it's Bel Air Plaza, down near Bel Air, where it's an urgent care facility, but she also advertises that she does some kind of services.
Monceau's,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
last name's Monceau, Rana Monceau. I forget what the name of the company is, but yeah, they have,
she talks about some kind of a
body art.
body art or tattoo removal or some kind
I
of
think they do laser
whatever.
removal.
Yeah.
I often question why there's a difference in our zoning code between body art and stuff like beauty shops, barbershops, and nail salons. So I'm looking through the code here, in our commercial districts, most of the beauty shop, barbershop, nail salons, tanning salons are principal permitted, but special exception goes in for body art studios. I've always wondered why that was the case. I don't think we've ever denied anyone for a special exception request, but just, I guess 20 years ago when I first came on the board, you know, tattoos were still a thing of a stigma. Yeah, and now they're pretty much widely accepted. So you've definitely seen a change in times. I'm wondering whether or not we even need to have them as special exception uses, and if not, they shouldn't be lumped back in with beauty shop, barbershop, and nail salons.
and that's
'Cause
definitely,
when you look at what they provide and the service they provide, it's not much different. People come in, they have something done, and they leave. And it's all regulated. Actually, I'd argue that body art studios are probably more regulated from the state level than what the, you know, a beauty shop or a barber shop would be.
I would tend to agree. I mean, when you look at it, the issue is if we lump them, or to just lump them in with tattoo parlors, then would that mean that they would have to get a special exemption? See, and I don't think that's a wise decision. That's just my personal opinion. I mean, I sort of lean with Ray. We might really want to look at the other end, removing that as a special exemption. I mean, it's a legitimate business regulated by the state.
And I don't see, I can understand, like, you know, a fitness center where you'd have, you know, 50, 60 people in at one time. I mean, you don't see that in these kind of small service shops. And I'm just going down through like the list of the special exception uses. Most of the special exception uses that were in the C districts are for, you know, high traffic generators, or something that was, you know, maybe more pedestrian oriented than, you know, a vehicle like in the C1 district or C2 district. So I honestly think we should suggest that moving body art studios and bringing them back into the same thing with beauty salons and barber shops. Then there's not a question about the regulation.
Yeah, I think it's that common now.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, things have changed a lot since I started on this board, and then that's one of the things you see, it's accepted. I mean, I know in high school, there might have been one or two kids that got that illicit tattoo, and, you know, that was in like 1990. Now, you know, my daughter's like, you know, I don't know if I really want one, but half of my friends have them, and she's 16.
So would you recommend doing that for, making that change? Well, number one, would you recommend making that change now? Or is that something that you would just like to be incorporated into the, inevitable update of our zoning ordinance?
I think now's fine. Yeah, I don't
Well,
see a-
I mean, two things, I guess, immediately, we should put them as a beauty salon for the purpose of this. If somebody's looking right now, I would not think would require special exemption.
Okay.
So, but going forward, yeah, I think we're all in agreement that, there's been a change in how we look at tattoo parlors. They would fall more in line with how we look at a beauty salon.
And then ultimately, then that zone change, we make the recommendation, mayor and council signs off on it.
So you would like us to make the zoning change now?
I think we ought to.
Okay, and do you want that to
You haven't,
apply?
have you done the zoning change yet, being here?
Yes.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yep.
So, it'd be easy, right?
Yeah, so, what we'll prepare that text amendment, we'll bring it back to you next month, and
Yeah.
then, we'll get that over to mayor and council for their review. Okay, and then, so my follow-up question to that is, do you want this to apply to well, I guess it's only C2 and C3 that it's a special exception. Is there any others that you want it added to, or do you feel comfortable with C2 and C3?
I think it ought to be
Apply
in the same, whatever the beauty and barbershops are permitted now, it should be in the same categories as them. And I think they're all
Okay.
as C2, C3, and they might be, I don't know if a barbershop might be a special exception in one of the R districts or not, I don't know. Because now you're looking at
Yeah.
an in-home business.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that was
I'm
the next
seeing
question that came to
here,
my mind is, could
Pardon?
this be an in-home business type situation?
I don't see a reason why I couldn't if you can get the certification from the
Yeah.
state.
yeah, or the facility inspection.
Right, and
Yeah.
that may not pass the facility inspection. Like, you're not allowed to do a lot of food prep at home unless you
Right.
have a separate commercial kitchen, no pets and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So,
okay. So I'm seeing beauty shop, barber shop, nail salon, tanning spa as special exceptions in R3 and R4. Do we want that to apply to tattoo studios as well? I'm just making sure that I'm 100% clear on what you
Yeah.
all want to see.
so really, as far as, I'm just speaking for myself here, but I don't differentiate, or I don't see a difference between a beauty shop and a tattoo parlor in my mind right now.
So on this matter, I guess I will need two votes. One on the issue of treating permanent makeup as an accessory to a beauty salon use. And then I will need another vote to proceed with the text amendment to treat body art studios the same as, or to permit them in the same districts that beauty shops, et cetera, would be permitted in.
Okay, do I have a motion on the first request here that we consider, what is this thing again?
Permanent makeup.
Permanent makeup to be a part of a beauty salon?
I'll make the motion. Sorry, that's all right. Do you want me to state it again?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll make a motion to include permanent makeup services as beauty salons.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to make permanent makeup services part of a beauty salon. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Okay.
Opposed? Nay? Abstentions? Motion carries. I didn't get that part right. Okay, now we're looking for a motion to be included,
I would say make a motion that body art be.
do we consider body art the same?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Abstentions? Motion. All right, next thing here is comprehensive plan update.
Frostburg, and we had a video call with his team, just kind of discussing what the process will look like. We were given, and so we, at least one or two planning commissioners on that, so any volunteers? It's kind of up to us, probably at least monthly, I would say.
At first, like once a month, I believe.
Yeah, okay. Anybody else interested?
I
All right.
suppose I could.
Expected of the steering committee. Like I said, I'll let you know, and you can decide if you're able to commit. So the attorney's hands, and we'll have. So that's where we are with that. Just a quick update.
They can't legally tell you what to do, but they can certainly share what other municipalities are doing and the guidance that's been provided.
Is
Yeah.
lacking.
Yeah, and that's their job.
Have that update for you, hopefully next month as well, if not by September.